Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Monday show, helping you start your week off right. Let me move some things around. Get everything all set up. Sliding into mission control at the last possible second. Keeps it exciting, right? Hold on, gotta be able to where I can see everything, get everything all set up. So, welcome to Break the Cycle with DSD. I am your host. I am Duane. I am not a therapist, nor am I an attorney. I'm an individual much like you that's been through a tough experience where I've developed some tips and techniques that I use to help me, that I share with you to help you get your life back, break the cycle of abuse, minimize the damage, strengthen relationship with your kids, and just help you get through this whole experience. Be careful throwing around diagnoses. Remember that only a licensed professional in a clinical environment can diagnose an individual with a personality disorder. And as we've come to realize, talking to experts lately, it can really get you into some trouble when you start playing therapist. Now, I understand that you can learn about the behaviors. You can learn about what they do and the ways that you can work around it, but just be very cautious going around and saying, oh, my ex has NPD or BPD. Like in my situation, my ex has never been diagnosed with anything. So, and according to her, she is perfectly fine. Anyways, on that, if you like what I do here, you can support the channel by becoming a channel member. Go over to youtube.com/dadssurvivingdivorce. Look for the join button. And when you do, you get special badges, custom emojis, name listed in the credits, and member-only events, and access to the member-only section of the DSD Discord. So, appreciate all the people that have taken the time to do that. If you want to get the SMS notification so that you don't miss a show, and you're in the United States and or Canada, you can text DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012, 844-598-0012. And the phone lines today, as long as I did it correctly, are open. If you want to call in and ask a question and participate, you can do that by dialing 1-424-373-5483, 1-424-DSD-LIVE. If you're outside of the United States or you have toll calling and you don't want to pay, you can scroll down in the description of the video and there is a link to do a web interface, which will not cost you any money. So on that, hopefully everybody is doing outstanding this morning. I'm just getting all my stuff all reconfigured. It looks like the text did go out today, which is outstanding. If any of you guys are on the mailing list, then you got the email from this weekend that as of right now, Dr. Amy Baker is scheduled to be here on Wednesday. So if you have questions that you would like me to address with her for the 1 hour we will have her, email those to me. That would be your best bet now. Just Duane at dadsurvivingdivorce.com. If you got the mailing list, just reply to it and I'll try to consolidate that. I mean, I already have a good list of things I want to go through with her. But if there's something specific that you'd like me to cover, let me know. And if I can work it into what I have, we will put it in there. Wow, somebody got up early to dislike the video. That's outstanding. Debbie says, Duane, is this your 100th cycle or break the cycle? This is the 100, actually, yes, it's the 100th version or episode of the podcast. So there was like 40 some odd before I switched to this format. 43. Actually, okay, I don't remember how many there were, but there was a number of them before, and then I started doing this. But yeah, in total, this is the 100th episode. Anyway, so I do have some points I want to discuss here in a moment, but I'm going to just look and see what's going on in the comments. Mia says, Monday, I'm all ready to go back to sleep. I love that. That's funny. And then Jamie says, good morning, or good Monday morning. Hope everyone has a wonderful week and enjoy your day. Thanks. Appreciate that. This is the reason why the United States is such a pain. Tim says, I got the wonder of getting my income imputed by the court, even though I've been unemployed due to COVID for 5 months. Last year, the ex reduced income by 35% and got a pass on income imputation. Hey, Tim, I would double check that. Look to see if you can appeal it. If you don't know Alex Falcone, I would recommend you check him out. Let me see if I can pull this up over here. Whoops, trying to type on my mixer. That's funny. All right, let's see here if I can go. All right. My screens are all over the place. So if you head over to, let me turn that off. Check out the proper person. He has a lot of information on that. You might want to reach out to him as well. There's a potential that there might be a statute that you could appeal that to say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. Oftentimes an attorney won't do that. They'll be like, oh, sorry, dude. We tried, didn't work, I know I was talking to someone the other day in the UK, and it reminded me that over there, whenever you get into that situation and child support stops, they don't turn around and go, no, you could make more. You could be doing more. We've decided that you're intentionally not doing. That is so messed up, dude. Just try to keep your head up on that, and just, I know how irritating that has to be. As I mentioned in the past, that's been one of the fears that I've always had, is that something would happen and they would be like, meh, well, sucks to be you. You still, we're going to still pretend you make what you used to make, and we'll just leave the support as it is. And oh, by the way, you'll have to deal with all the consequences of that. But Tim, don't allow it to break you, man. Don't, I know it's going to feel like it will, but, try to stay on top of it as much as possible. I would try to fight it, though. I would appeal it, because I'm sure that like even in California, they pull that crap here, but I've never had to deal with this, so I don't know for sure. But my understanding is that there are, that doesn't follow the statutes, that you would be able to potentially, okay. And you do say, I am going to the Court of Appeals on it. I have been watching Alex for years, a proper person. Okay, so had I saw that, but for everyone else who doesn't know about Alex, check him out. So yeah, let us know how that goes, man. That's so annoying. Oh, I get it. I was looking, I'm going, what? Probably his ex-wife. What you mean? You guys are talking about with the thumbs down. Yeah, I don't know. There's somebody who really just, it's either the same person, or maybe there's just every once in a while I get this random person who hates it. But it's like, if you look at my videos, I generally have 1 or 2 thumbs down. That's pretty funny. But hey, I'm not everybody's cup of tea or a carafe of coffee, as we were talking about the other day. That's funny. Yeah, it says Tim says 9 hearings on support in 2 years. It's just the most recent, not broken, just irritated. Yeah. So here's the reality of this. If your ex hasn't been scared off from court, either because of the cost or because of a ruling that basically made them nervous, that is probably the last area that they still have the opportunity to poke at you. And if they feel that it works and it's low threat to them, unfortunately, oftentimes they will do it as often as they possibly can, just because they can. Like, for instance, if I remember correctly, in California, which is where I'm at, the last time I talked to the Department of Child Support Services, if you don't go to court, that'll ultimately send you to court, but if you wanted to start this process for free, basically, you can I think it's every 6 months is what they told me. It's either 6 months or every year you can go back and ask for a readjustment. So anyways, it's just crazy. All right, I'm going to grab that here in a second. But first, I had made some notes last night. So let me go through these. Hopefully they're coherent because I was tired. And I got an email from a individual who got into a relationship with this lady who had kids. You know, he was convinced that the ex, that the ex was a deadbeat, piece of garbage. And the guy, the dad of the person signed the kids over to this guy. He had a handful more children, a couple, maybe three, with his wife, plus the two that he adopted. And just recently he realized, the whole thing was a facade. So the relationship is disintegrated. Now he is going through exactly what the previous relationships had gone through. And I can remember going through that same mindset. I mean, I didn't adopt anybody's kids. For us, the only children we had were the ones we had. But you got to be careful of beating yourself up for not seeing who they were. It's really hard whenever you're in the midst of this situation and everything's starting to come clear and you feel like such a knucklehead, but you have to reconcile the fact that you are now the person that they described from the previous relationships. And that was really tough for me. I mean, when I thought about it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just now the latest line of quote unquote jerks that have been mean to this person, meaning my ex, made their life hell, was abusive and scary and all those things. And I completely, I won't say what a lot of people say, Captain yada yada. I completely was white knighting, I'll never do that to you, pumpkin. And I think a lot of times we figure that whenever someone's been through a horrible mess, that if we're there for them, that they will be loyal, they'll see that, they'll respect that, and it will be incredibly valuable, and it will strengthen the relationship and will be the greatest for each other, which often isn't the case. Because typically when somebody is damaged, they don't think they deserve better. And as a result of that, if you are the best person in the world, they are going to sabotage it because deep down they don't feel as though they deserve it. So the thing is, if you're in the beginning parts of this, you're already going through a tremendous amount of pain right now, and you absolutely don't need to levy any more onto your plate, right? I mean, you're already being attacked from multiple angles. You don't need to attack yourself from within. So don't, maybe put that on the back burner to deal with it later, especially if you're in the midst of the firefight, so to speak. But sitting there and beating yourself up saying, oh my God, how did I not see this? I'm such a bonehead. How could I have trusted this person, confided in them and everything, and now they're the enemy? Now they're taking all that intelligence that they gathered over the years, the decades, depending on your time frame, the 2 decades, as in my case, and then use every little ounce of information that they can to try to basically destroy you, or at least put you in a state of fear that you give them whatever they want. The thing is, you just have to hunker down, prepare for impact, then assess the damage of whatever happens and whatever they do use, whatever they try, and then pick up the pieces and move forward. It's so tough whenever you have somebody that you thought was a different person, right? You believed the false narrative. You believed the love bombing. You believed the mirroring when they were telling you everything you wanted to hear and showing you everything you wanted to see. And then when it starts to fade, or whenever they cannot maintain it because they can't, you make excuses for it and you try to get back to what you were at before. The reality is this is hard, and that's probably the most colossal understatement of the morning you're probably going to hear. But we do get through this. We do grow from this. Out of the ashes, the phoenix will arise. You will arise out of this yourself. And once you're able to heal those wounds, you're going to be a much stronger, much more emotionally intelligent person who will not be in a situation to where you'll be, put in this situation again. I was talking with basically a client, I guess, the other day, and they were having a relationship issue, and they were standing up for their boundaries. They were they're putting their foot down on what was important, not unrealistic demands, but like, look, this is what's important to me. This is what I need. And I understand we need to work together. And when the other person wasn't willing or able to come to the table, was able to make an intelligent, emotionally mature decision to say, okay, not what I want, would prefer a different outcome. But you get to the point where you recognize it. Your codependency will diminish to where you're not going to put yourself at risk, or emotional at risk, at the very least, because you've been there. You've done that. You've gone through all this. You've experienced it. You're not going to put yourself through something. I mean, like that's even for me. I've gone through a 20-year marriage that was a train wreck. I'm not going to do it again. I am not going to be with somebody who does that type of stuff again. And that is tremendous power and peace. Now, you have to work through everything to get to that point. That's not something that you just like, okay, watch a couple of videos, read a book, and I got it. I mean, it helps, but it's going to take some time to really bring that into your life. Make it part of the system. Part of the system. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but part of your new programming, part of your new subconscious. Mia says, I blame myself for not seeing it, but after that, I know I was the one that cared, and my love, while wasted on him, will come back around. Exactly. Right? And then once we realize that people like this are out there, they don't, not that they don't, we recognize it. We see the red flags, we see the issues, and you can make a much better decision. I see that the caller dropped. Sorry about that. I was just getting ready to go to you as well. So if you want to call back, call on back. MFA says, DSD, we don't choose to make them an enemy. I remember I had a conversation with my father early on to this, and he said, it was the person you love the most in the world. Now they are your arch enemy and will do everything to destroy you. And I remember at the time when he said it, I didn't really believe it. Maybe deep down I did. Maybe I didn't want to believe it. And I hate to say it, but it's true. When these people switch, it's almost as if they're a spy from a different country, and they tell us everything we want to hear. They use everything to get every little bit of information they possibly can. And then when the war comes, they use all of it to inflict the most damage they possibly can. It's like a surprise attack. It catches you whenever you're not paying attention. Like Melissa was talking about that the other day. And they basically, when you least expect it, they launch, and you are sitting there going, what in the world just happened? All right, I do have a caller. It's on the web interface, so let me go to that. Hello and welcome to the show. Hopefully. I hear nobody. Testing 1 2, test 1 2. Darn the luck. And they were from India as well. So I apologize that did not work. I guess sometimes technology fails us. All right, let me look here. Oh man, my glasses. I need to clean my glasses or change my. I did a new configuration, so I'm still trying to figure out if I like this. So let me check the comments. Whoops, I didn't. LJ says DSD Narc Ex mom doesn't call the kids or ask to see them. She is doing what her son is. Had the nerve to complain, I don't bring the kids to see her. She doesn't even call. Hey, they are masters at taking nuances of situations and making it about them and how you're the bad person. So, and you do not have to do anything that you don't want to do. If you want to take the kids over there so that they can see the grandmother, great. That's what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, great. You don't have to do it. Only do what you guys are comfortable with. Don't be guilted into doing anything. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with. And if it doesn't feel right to you, then don't do it. LJ says, during separation, I reached out all the time, begged her to talk to him. Her response was, quote, he's a grown man. I can't tell him what to do. Which technically is true. But that's, wow. I mean, no wonder, I mean, if that's the type of household he was raised in, no wonder he's acting that way. Okay, we got another caller here. I'm going to grab that or actually, I'll just go ahead and try to grab it right now. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey, Duane, it's iTumblr.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too good. So, question. Well, it's kind of like I'm going to give a little story. Not really a story, but this morning tomorrow's my trial. It's supposed to be like 3 days.
Right.
And the GAL just came out with his report this morning. I just read it like as I was watching your show.
Okay.
And basically he's recommending that the narc mother retains primary custodial, being the primary custodial parent, and also reverting my parenting time, which the judge has already given me. So it's just discouraging. It's so discouraging.
Well, have you? Are you representing yourself, or do you have an attorney? I can't remember.
I was representing myself, and
okay.
I have an attorney now, and we went through pre-trial prep work yesterday for the whole day, and I was pretty exhausted from it just because I just absolutely hate getting into this stuff. But I know that he's gonna do a decent job because he understands the case pretty well. But pretty much the GAL, like he pretty much minimizes whatever the ex does, but then exploit. I don't know how to really I don't know the right word to say it, but basically anything that I do, it's like the biggest deal in the world.
Right.
So that's my biggest regret, was ever getting a GAL and paying for that, just because he has been nothing but a problem.
Nothing but an advocate for your ex.
Exactly. There's really no basis for his recommendation. Just anything that I do, it's like a huge deal. But whatever she does, which are bigger things, like alienating me from the child for 7 months, it's just like, oh, well, she was insistent on getting a temporary, like a court order parenting schedule, and I'm like, wow.
See, that's the problem.
And then he just said that I
want to say that's the problem with a lot of these people, is that they don't either they don't want to, or they can't see the effect this has on it. And I mean, of course, right? I mean, until you have even some type of temporary order, there's no reason to do with anything, and it's so stressful. So you just don't, you don't acknowledge the person until there's a court order. I mean, it's frustrating because it defies logic. But to them, I mean, it's almost like talking to your ex, right? When you try to explain something to them and they just kind of, you say, oh, hey, the sky's blue. And they're like, no, it's purple. And you're like, look at the sky. And it's like, that's what? You need to get your eyes checked. No, my eyes are fine. Your eyes need to be checked, right? I mean, it's just that it's that type of interaction. I mean, I wouldn't,
Right.
don't just accept defeat yet. I mean, you still have your trial coming up.
I know.
A gal is not a mental health professional. They're basically just an attorney, right? I mean, in your area, or is it different? Or do you remember, or do you know?
They're just an attorney. Yeah, they're just an attorney. They don't really know. He's basically like, so he recommends co-parenting counseling, which I think everybody from outside that sees it can say like, yeah, probably y'all need to go to some co-parenting counseling. But the thing is that it's like he recommends things without really taking into account like, hey, you have child support. Hey, you have bills. Hey,
Right.
you have an attorney you have to pay for to even get your basic rights to your own kid. It's like you tell these things to these people and they act like they just look the other way like that. Like that's not a real problem that you can't pay for everybody. I'm paying for him.
Right. Yeah.
I'm paying for like all these different things. And it's just like these people act like, well, that's not my problem. So why would I
Worry about it.
Why do I care? It's not my problem. Yeah. Why would I? Why it's not?
Well,
yeah,
and then they look
so,
at it because, I mean, everybody's in the same boat, right? I mean, your complaint is the same complaint from the guy before, from the person before that, the person before that. I mean, and it's just, they don't have the empathy for it, and they don't, I mean, they're not experiencing it. They're not dealing with the injustice of it all. So I know that's a blow, dude. I've had those myself where things would come up and it would just be like, just felt like a mighty blow. And typically, at least in my situation, it tend to work out okay. Just stay focused on the, focused on the mission objective. This is a skirmish that you didn't anticipate, me using my normal military war type references. And, don't use it to demoralize yourself. Just say, okay, well, was kind of hoping that wasn't going to be the case, or at least a guy would come back and say 50-50. What state are you in? Can I ask, or if you don't want to say, that's fine.
No, it's fine. I'm in Georgia.
Oh, okay. That's right. So if I remember correctly, you've told me that they still kind of lean towards the mom there, right? Didn't you say that before?
Yeah, they definitely do. But the judge gave me a lot more time with what the jail was willing to give me, and so she did. And now he's saying that my time should be reverted. It's just a very lazy recommendation.
Well, just because, I mean, you're getting ready to go into a trial. So the gal thing, I mean, if you were just going back into a hearing and it was all just to look at the GAL report, the GAL report, then, I mean, I would, you could be a little bit more nervous, but this is just one piece. Now, your ex and her attorney are going to turn around and they're going to try to fall on the sword on that report. But I mean, I'm assuming with this trial, you have your own people to come in, your own people who are going to testify about the way things are. Do you have any mental health professionals on your lineup, or no?
Yeah, there's nobody.
Okay.
I was gonna get her anger management. I was gonna get that, but now that it's too late for that at this point. So, well, here's the thing. He's went against me before, and I steamrolled him. I pretty much just overspoke him in court, and just pretty much just enhanced the issues that I had. This time I have an attorney to do that, and we're supposed to get on a call later to discuss, what our next steps.
Well, and you just need to make sure that he's going to approach it the same way you were before, as opposed to going in there and thinking, okay, well, we're not going to fight that fight, or we're not going to play at their level. I mean, if you're comfortable, I mean, it's like you need to make sure, I guess what I'm trying to say is you need to make sure that your attorney and you and your attorney are on the same page, and that he's going to approach it in the manner that you are expecting him to. So.
Right. And we did all that yesterday, and now we have to talk about it again because now this is new to us. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I was just letting you and all the other listeners know. This has happened before to me where I've had these setbacks, and while it's very discouraging and very upsetting, it is not the end. And
Nope, it is not.
there are going to be next steps that there are going to be next steps that I will take as far as getting this resolved. And I'm not going to accept this.
Good.
I will not accept it. So just letting everyone know, like, that is the attitude that you should have. Yeah, you're a human. You're going to get upset. That's just normal. But don't have your focus still on the objective, which is your child winning, and that's you winning. So
yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for sharing that. And again, for you always have good tidbits. And I mean, even in that hit that you're dealing with right now, to have that clarity is awesome. So thanks for sharing.
Thanks so much, Duane. Have a good one.
You too. I think, and that's really the key, right? The key is to not, let this stuff break you. I mean, we've had a couple, that call, the comment from before with the person who is being imputed wages that he doesn't have because of COVID. There's so many times that things don't go the way we think they should. And you just have to pick the pieces up, find out what your options are. Both of these people are basically planning on, if it doesn't go the way they're anticipating, looking for ways to appeal it or do something to try to undo it. Too often we think and are told in family court that this is what happened. Well, it sucks. We tried, we lost, now just pick up the pieces and at some point you might have to, right? But don't just accept it verbatim. Or just on face value. Double check. Understand that a lot of attorneys are not going to want to go up against the judge or fight with the other attorneys, because that's the playground that they're in. That's who they're going to have to deal with. They'll finish your case, and then after the next day they'll be back in front of that judge with someone else, and they're trying to make sure that they don't want to get into a situation where they have a bad reputation and a judge is just trying to rule against them just because, right? It's screwed up. The reality is, if you watch Alex Falcone's stuff, what actually seems to happen is the opposite. It's like once they start being held accountable and they realize that, oh crap, these other people are going to play by the rules. I gotta play differently. But the thing is that people who are trying to do their career oftentimes are going to pick the path of least resistance for themselves. So it's frustrating. The whole thing is frustrating. Let me just check the comments. It looks like I have another caller. I'll grab that after I just make sure that I don't miss anything. Let's see. Matt says, what's the difference between the gal and the person who performs the forensics? Depends on what the forensics is. Are you talking about finance? A gal is a guardian ad litem, and it's typically an attorney for the child. Actually, I see Allswell say that. I'll pop this up. So basically, it's someone to represent the kid or the children and to have their legal voice. So instead of it being, in theory, instead of having, okay, mom's attorney has got the slant for mom, the dad's attorney has a slant for dad. So in theory, this guardian ad litem, and if you haven't seen the interview I did last week with Melissa, I would encourage you to watch that, because this specifically comes up. And the idea is that you'll have somebody who's neutral, who's only focused on the best interests of the child and what would be good for them and representing their legal interest. But you have no idea what this person's baseline position is coming from. If you get a GAL who thinks that the kid should be with the dad all the time, and maybe they'll skew that way. If they think that it's the other way, they'll skew a different way. I think, especially from that conversation with Melissa the other day, I would try to stay away from that as much as possible. Let's see. All right, I'm missing some of the conversations. I am going to go with the next caller, area code 269. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Duane. It's Bill.
Hey, Bill. How you doing today?
Hey. Good. I went to court last Thursday over my ex-wife getting the PPO on me again, and because I asked her to get the kids tested and fix the lie that she told at the child psychologist's office that I didn't have CPS supervised visitations that was court ordered. She was just keeping the kids from me for 42 days. I called her out, and she overreacted, and she got a PPO. So
Right.
We got a PPO hearing. Well, what I did was I did from when the last PPO expired in April until the one that the teachers won't even look at my face. They think I'm a monster.
Right.
I find this out through the children, and then I see my opportunity. I call her out through the text messages. I asked her to fix the lie, which I have proof with the CPS report. I asked her to stop doing this and stop making a mess of everything. Wham! I got the PPO. I go to in front of the judge on Thursday, and basically what he's been on 3 months now about finishing that up. I'm still not, I don't have it, but Anyway, let's move forward.
Yeah.
It's just the way that those offices are, okay, because they just don't care. Anyway, what I'm going back to is the judge. The judge said he firmly knows that if I hire a psychologist or she hires a psychologist, that the 90% of the time they're going to side with the person that wrote the check out.
Oh.
And he stated, I want you two to go to my PhD golfing buddy and get your psych eval done there because I trust him.
And I want you, sir, to pay for it.
I was stunned. Yeah, both of and I want you to pay for both of hers and yours.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now, this is what he said. Oh, you're going to love this. He says, this is voluntary. And he says, the one that doesn't want to do it shows me what kind of person they are. And the one that doesn't want to pay for it shows me what kind of person they are.
Oh, dear God.
I know, I love the judge because at least he's honest. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he put it right out in black and white.
Did she even recognize or understand what was happening or not?
My ex?
Yeah.
She was just angry. I mean, she was real quiet. She was just angry. And she didn't do anything. I could just see her boiling.
That had to be
basically,
fun.
in a nutshell, I didn't enjoy it. I'm telling you, because I know she's going to do something after this.
Well, yeah.
I know that there's more. Yeah.
There's more to come.
What happens next? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not over with. So anyway, she has to agree to this. If I pop dirty on the PPO stays. If she pops dirty on the test, the PPO I get it kicked off. Then after we do that, we're going to get into the parenting. He doesn't want to test the kids at the moment. He doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to get psych evals done to see what he's dealing with is what he wants. And as he stated, I want to use my buddy because I trust him. And I don't want anybody to tell me or offer me some other place. We're going to use him first to get this going. He said, clearly the two of you can't communicate over anything. What I want to say is that if you consistently make mistakes, if your ex is able to gaslight you or target you or make you react, they're going to use your reaction against you to prove to everybody how horrible you are. Yep. You're going to have to take the abuse. I've got 6 months of my son punching my daughter in front of me, lying to me. Scratching the car, ruining the lawnmower, deliberately doing horrible things to me just to get me angry so that I won't take the bait. I just documented it all. And then when I flipped it on her, you know, she says in the PPO that the kids don't act like that with me. They just act like that with you. Right, and my kid won't do homework with me. He's failing school. You're struggling. You go to the school, you talk to the school. They look at me like I'm the one that's causing the problem, trying to make her look bad. Right. So what I'm trying to say is that where we fail in helping our children is our reaction.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to fix it. We want to own it. And we want to show our responsibility. And we cannot stand it when our child is being turned against us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they're going to turn your kid. They're going to turn your kid.
There's definitely going to be an impact.
Wake up. It's going to happen. There's not, you can't do it. Even if it doesn't matter if it's just in visitation or they've got all the overnights or whatever, the kid will be turned. Time is irrelevant to these people. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that you have to have a plan, an action plan to be able to go from here to there.
Yep.
And when you send the text message to them, you send it to the judge and then the judge sends it to her. I dated it. I even said, in the best interest of the kids, can you? And I repeated this consistently and get her used to it as part of, this is normal for his behavior.
Right,
right. Can we get the kids tested because of their acting out and having problems? She texted me back, saved it. And I said, this is why I want to get the kids tested. She, saved it. I got my proof. I'm going to show it against you. That's basically what she did. Well, the judge saw that. Yeah. The judge saw that, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it. She didn't say, well, what's going on with the kids? She didn't say anything like that. So what I'm trying to say is that those little things like that add up.
They all add up
of broken behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've got to lay the ambush out.
Exactly.
Lay the ambush out for your proof. You have got to be the target. You have got to be the target. You can't fight. You cannot fight not being the target. Your job is to take it. Yeah. Take the bullets. Take the hit. And the document, save it. It's going to kill you not to talk to the kids when they say, Mom says that you drink in a closet.
Right. I remember you mentioning that. But see, I mean, the thing is like, I mean, what you're talking about, I mean, it's what I always say, pick your frickin' battles. You could have fought every one of those things that you were talking about. You could have got into a back and forth with her, and when the judge would have looked at that, he would have said, "You guys are both knuckleheads. This situation sucks. I'm gonna err on the side of caution and believe your ex." And you kill yourself. It's like, guy, I'm gonna just say this. Pause for a moment. And just say to everyone listening and watching. You have to focus on the end game. Like the caller right now is talking about. You have to. Sorry, I got you confused. But you got to focus on the end game, not what's happening right now, not getting your vengeance right now, not holding them accountable right this second. It's build that pattern of behavior so that you can then walk into court like you're talking about and have it be crystal clear to the judge to say, oh, okay. I think I see clearly now. And I mean, man, you nailed it. You nailed it. Awesome, man.
My attorney told me don't provoke her. Don't. And I'm thinking bull crap. And then I got the PPO. And then he's like, I told you not to do this. And I went, wait a minute. I'm paying you money and I know better than you. Look, we need to go to court. I'm waiting for this stupid psych eval, and when I get it back, I'm going to file it. But I was like, forget this. When I found out that she's been making our children lie to everybody.
No, you
school year starting.
You played her, dude. I mean, and you did it masterfully. I mean, because even when you mentioned that before, I was like, oh man, that's a risk,
Duane.
But you had the long.
Duane,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Duane. I have to disagree with you. I didn't play her. I'm sorry. That you got to refer to a different word. What I did was I used her behavior to track her and show it to a judge.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay. I mean, maybe I oversimplified it, but exactly. You recognized your enemy. You understood what was going on. You knew that she was going to do this and bring it up there, and you knew you had 6 months worth of information that you were going to be able to bury her with. You basically got into a situation where you're like, how do I get this in front of the judge? And you've made a scenario. I understand why your attorney was saying, "Oh my God, don't do that. What the hell are you thinking?" But it was, it was a masterful play, man. I'm impressed.
Well, it was. I mean, I'm still in shock over it. And what the judge said.
Now it's risky, right? I mean, that could have blown up in your face. But I mean, it's a calculated risk. Yeah.
But like I told the judge, anyway, the only thing that changes with the PPO is that we exchange at the police station.
Yeah.
I said the only thing that changes is that now I don't text her. We go through attorney, and it's going to cost us money. That's the only. Everything I sent her can go through the attorney's office. There's nothing inappropriate.
Right.
I didn't attack her. I didn't name call her. I didn't do anything negative. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're communicating, stay 100 feet away from that
Yeah,
person.
yeah, absolutely.
Only make the communications about the children. I would say that pretend like the judge is going to see every text message or every email.
Yeah, you
and
absolutely have to do
document.
that. Man,
I bought a police body cam
I remember you mentioning that.
to document this stuff with the children. And remember, just before the kids go back, they're going to act out, and then 2 hours before the kids go back, they're going to reset. They're going to communicate with you on a more truer level.
Right.
And for the first 3 hours you get the kids or whatever, they're going to be gaslit, and they're going to do the other parent agenda. So anyway, I'll let you go real quick, Duane, but I want to say it's awesome you're going to have Amy Baker. God, I love that lady.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need to, yeah, I mean, barring any problems, we got it scheduled. It's already on the calendar, so, I'm looking forward to it.
I want to say that it's her book that helped me formulate to catch my ex's pattern and drag it in front of the judge.
Oh, I'll have to remember that and bring that up then.
Because,
all right, man.
Yeah, because false allegations with the PPO, that's some serious stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you're able to use that against your ex for doing it, and they're able to get away with it if we show our negative reaction.
Oh yeah,
of us being gaslighted.
It's a trap.
They own us. We're slaves to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
We're slaves to them.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. All right. Best wishes. Bye bye. Yep.
Man, that was, I was as he was starting that story, I'm like, okay, is this going to be bad or is this going to be good? And it's like that. I mean, that's pretty cool. Everyone needs to take that away. The takeaway from that is we have to make sure that our responses don't hurt us. So often, I've seen this. I had a friend of mine whose stepson was going through a divorce, and he was about ready to take the phone away from the guy because he kept texting his ex saying stupid things. It's like, every one of us has to be in the long game for this. And if we make mistakes, it's going to send us down one way. And if you do other things, it sends it down the different way. Oh, man. That was cool. I'm looking forward to see what ultimately happens with that. I see that there was a question. I doubt I'll be able to find it, but let me scroll back. I know we're starting to run. Well, we got 10 minutes. We got a little bit of time. We still have time. Let me, where is this? Moderator Debbie highlighted this, and I just wanted to see if I could find it. Okay, I'll just read it. Basically, it was from Blue, and it says, may I ask how your home was distributed? Did she buy you out by refinance? In my situation, the home was awarded to her, and she was supposed to refinance it. But what happened is she stopped paying. And since I was still on the note and still on the lien, it destroyed, I guess effectively it destroyed both of our credit. But so whenever we finally got to the point where that's the way it was going to go, she just stopped paying the payment, which is really weird because initially I'm like, look, you can have the house. I'll give you the house. I'll make the payment. We'll deduct the payment off of whatever the ransom is that I'm going to be paying you and your alimony. And then you'll have this house free and clear, plus walking around money. And once the market turns around and you can sell it for a profit or whatever, or break even or sell it, you're good to go. And which probably, had she waited, she would have had, probably right now, maybe $90,000 in equity, maybe $100,000. But that's what I wanted her to do. And I did actually want her to do that, right? Because I didn't want to screw up my credit. And I didn't want to screw up, all the stuff that goes on with that. No, she stopped paying. Whenever I freaked out because I got a letter from the bank saying, if you're having trouble paying your bill, sign up for our different plans. And I called them up and I'm like, hey, why the hell did you send that to me? It's like, well, you didn't make your mortgage payment last month. And I'm like, what? my attorney wrote to her attorney. It's like, hey, you didn't pay the frickin' bill. And they actually had the audacity to write back and say, well, if the payment is so important to you, then just pay it. And I'm like, and I mean, I'm smiling right now, but I was basically in a rage. I'm like, you're taking all of my money now. I don't have enough money to survive, let alone to give you another $1,200 a month to pay the frickin' bill. That would have been probably every dime I had left at the time. And I wouldn't have the money to pay my rent, buy food, pay for anything. Well, if it's so important to you, just pay it. Oh man, these situations are just, the thing is, they will win. They will have their, they'll get the mighty blows in first. They'll do their Pearl Harbor attack and be sitting, high on the hog thinking, ha, I'm winning. Just keep your head down. Have the perseverance. Don't make the mistakes. And most of the time, they implode on themselves. And the bobblehead just falls off and rolls down, falls off the dashboard onto the floor and then gets stepped on. Oh my God. Pretty funny. Anyways, well, at least it was funny to me. You guys will have to let me know if that was entertaining or whether you're like, oh crap, Duane just lost his mind. DSD went off the rails. Oh my God. Oh, Blue says LOL, Duane. So I like that. Okay, so John says, DSD, they did that to me. Then the attorney said to me, I need to sell the house. I told the judge the attorney will not see a penny from my equity. Yeah, these bloodsuckers, most of the time, they want to get your accounting so they can see, well, how much money is there? How much money do these people have? Ooh, they have a retirement account with $100,000. Okay, there's $100,000 there. Ooh, the house has, equity in it. All right. Well, so now we're dealing with maybe $150,000, $200,000. All right, this is going to be a war. You need a custody evaluation, financial or forensic accountant. And then the second you run out of money, you guys should settle. This has been going on long enough. I could keep fighting this, but you need to pay the $5,000 balance for this last month. But attorney, I don't have any more money. You've already taken, $100,000 from me. Well, it's it makes my eye twitch. Anyways, I digress. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Man, it's I know this is all a serious topic and I'm trying to add some levity into it. But it's really, what I hope you get out of this from seeing me is I'm there with you guys and gals, everybody in here, where you're at. I've felt those emotions. I've felt the anger. I've felt the bitterness. The devastation, the betrayal. And I didn't think that it was ever going to be possible to get to the other side of this. I'm like, how am I ever going to let the pain and anger go on this? And how am I ever going to have a life? I've lost everything. Everything's been destroyed. Everything's been screwed up. The kids are constantly getting messed with. I remember feeling completely frustrated because it's like, I'm paying this person, meaning my ex, to, let's see, we're an hour into it, to fuck with me. It's like, this is insane. I'm paying, in order to pay her attorney, but even after that, I'm paying her a ton of money in support. And it's like, she doesn't have to hit a lick, doesn't have to do anything other than sharpen her spears to throw them at me. And I'm like, what in the hell? You got the kids being the surrogate, them coming in and taking their little finger and going, boop, right in my eye. I remember not sitting right here, but being in this house and just thinking to myself, oh my God, I've divorced the ex. I don't have to let her in my house, but I feel like I have 3 little surrogates that are like her little robots here. This was devastating. Okay, my point is this. My point is 8 to 9 years later, I think 9 years separated, a little over 8 years, or a little over 9 years separated, a little over 8 years divorced. I checked the dates the other day. And I'm doing pretty good. Has anything changed? Well, okay, 2 kids have dropped off. But even before the 2 kids dropped off, I was doing really good. I was happy. I'd made my peace with the disaster of the previous 2 decades. Actually, we're rolling up on 3 decades now with it. And I took my life back. I'm like, look, I am not going to allow this person to screw with my head even anymore. It doesn't mean that she stopped. It doesn't mean that we're not in this stalemate. Doesn't mean that she's not screwing with the kids anymore. All that stuff is still happening. But I was able to make my peace with it, make the decision that I'm not going to allow that BS to occupy my head anymore and send me down to the pit of hell. We get to choose what we're going to do, right? I'm not minimizing the effect that these people have on us. They have a tremendous effect. You know, I mean, when they start throwing spears, there's an effect to it. If they start trying to drag you back into court or whatever, yeah, there's a problem with that. But, it's like you can just say, okay, I'm going to let this screw with me or not. What I look at it oftentimes is, I've never been in jail. I have a squeaky clean record up until all the false allegations, but that's a different story. But I kind of look at it like, okay, you know what? If I did something that I exhausted all my appeals and they send me to jail and I'm serving a 12-year sentence, well, I got to hunker down and do my time. And that's kind of what I looked at this as like, okay, you know what? At least I'm in my own house. I mean, I have some freedom. I'm not locked in a cage, even though sometimes it feels like we are. And I just, focused on that. All right. On that rant. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. I do want to say thank you to all the channel members who helped make this happen. If you are so inclined, I'd appreciate the support because it helps keep the lights on and everything. Guys, take care of yourself. I will be back tomorrow and we'll do this again.